What's up, Endgame community? It's Chris, and I'm back. I'm bringing you more players that may be on your fantasy team that are causing you some panic, and I'm going to let you know, should you be panicking about them, or should you just relax? All right, let's start with a pretty big name, and that's CeeDee Lamb of the Dallas Cowboys. Had a great first 2 weeks, but man, the last 2 weeks, I don't know what's going on with Dallas. It's like Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin are Dak Prescott's favorite targets. CeeDee Lamb, only 8 total targets over the last 2 games, a complete dud here in week 4. Look, I still believe in CeeDee Lamb. I still think CeeDee Lamb is going to be a great player and a great fantasy player this year, but I do worry a little bit because he's playing more on the outside this year and less in the slot. And I do wonder if that transition to the outside, facing the tougher corners, getting the tougher throws from Dak Prescott, if maybe that is going to hurt his value to some degree. But as we saw in weeks 1 and 2, this guy still has tons of weekly upside. I know, it's frustrating. Trust me, I have them, and it's frustrating to see Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin getting all the targets and the touchdowns. But I do think better days are ahead. Don't panic on CeeDee Lamb. I'm not panicking on CeeDee Lamb. You shouldn't be panicking on CeeDee Lamb. He'll get better. All right, let's move on to a running back now. And I need to warn you, I have a string of running backs coming up. So if you love running backs, this might hurt. But let's start with Joe Mixon of the Bengals. I know he got a touchdown. He got 13 fantasy points. He got a little banged up with the ankle, but it doesn't seem serious. But that's not why I'm panicking. Here's why I'm panicking. Had that monster week 1. Since then, he's only averaged 10 fantasy points per game in PPR leagues. And here's the big issue. Samaje Perine is playing all the third down snaps. Joe Mixon barely plays on third down, which wasn't the case in week 1. So he's not getting those valuable third down, passing down snaps, and hence he's not getting a lot of targets. Joe Mixon has become, over the last 3 weeks, just a first and second down and short yardage back. And look, that's fine. That's enough to be a solid RB2 with some weekly RB1 upside when he scores. But that's not why you drafted Joe Mixon, right? I mean, we had high hopes for Joe Mixon, possible top 10, top 5. This was a guy going, late second round in a lot of leagues. So not panicking on Joe Mixon, but I think you just have to accept the fact that this is who he's going to be. He's going to be a solid RB2 with some weekly RB1 upside. If you can move him for something better, absolutely do it. Otherwise, stay the course. He's not going to kill your fantasy team. Probably just not going to be a league winner this year. Hey guys, real quick before I move on to the next running back, if you're enjoying the video, all I ask is real quick, take a second, hit that thumbs up button. Appreciate it. All right, let's move on to the next player, and that is Mike Davis, running back of the Falcons. Is he the RB2 on the Falcons? Is Cordero Patterson the RB1? I don't know. Patterson just won people their weeks in week 4 here. He's getting the bulk of the receiving work. I mean, Mike Davis is kind of like a Joe Mixon light now, right? He's also a guy just getting early down carries, not being heavily involved in the passing game thanks to Patterson. Very touchdown dependent. I'd probably have Mike Davis more in that low end RB2 to RB3 type of range. A guy that, if you're desperate, if you're in a pinch, you can plug him in. You can hope like today he finds the end zone and helps your fantasy team. But on those weeks he doesn't score, his floor is going to be extremely low. And he really has no ceiling. So definitely panicking on Mike Davis. Not going to be the solid week in and week out RB2 that we thought he would, at least for as long as Patterson is there, which seems like it'll be for the long term at this point. So definitely high panic on Mike Davis. If you could find somebody to take him off your hands, by all means, do it right away. All right, I told you we were going to be looking at a bunch of running backs, so let's get to another one. Myles Gaskin hasn't topped 12 fantasy points all season. Only 2 carries for 3 yards in week 4. No catches? What is going on? I mean, hopefully when Tua gets back, it gets a little better. Maybe he'll at least get some receptions, which is normally, what we like to see from Gaskin in PPR leagues. But even still, it just seems like the ceiling is not there. He's not getting, the bulk of the snaps like he got last year. And this offense just really can't support a high-end running back. I mean, I don't want to say you can drop Myles Gaskin because I think that's a little too crazy, but you can certainly bench Myles Gaskin from here on out. I mean, at this point, he's nothing more than a bye week injury desperation fill-in. So definitely keep him on your bench from here on out. Panic level very, very high on Myles Gaskin. Hey guys, really quick before I get to the last two panic players here, I just want to let you know if you're enjoying the video, if you're finding it valuable, if you enjoy us and you want to help support us, check down below for the link to our Patreon. We really need the help. We're trying to do this more and more so we can be more involved in the YouTube comments, in the Discord community, really helping you guys out each and every week. And oh, by the way, you get some really cool stuff by signing up, and it's less than like a cup of coffee, right? It's very inexpensive. So if you're in a position financially where you can do that, we would greatly appreciate the support. If you can't, no worries, totally understand. We do also have a link down below to our free Discord server, which you absolutely want to get in completely free of charge. It's an awesome place to be each and every week. All right, two more players, but only one more running back, and that's Miles Sanders of the Eagles. I mean, Pierre called this, he was calling him a bust all offseason, and he looks the part right now. Since week one, only 22 total carries over 3 games, right? The Eagles are playing from behind. They're passing a ton. Jalen Hurts is pretty much the entire offense, which is good for Jalen Hurts if you have him in fantasy, but not good for Miles Sanders. And on top of that, Kenneth Gainwell eating into his work, got a touchdown here in week 4. I mean, it's just going to be really tough for Miles Sanders to become a viable fantasy running back on a team that's throwing the ball 40 plus times and only running it, 10, 11, 12 times a game. So kind of like Myles Gaskin, kind of like Mike Davis, you can bench Miles Sanders from here on out. He's no longer a guy you have to think about as a weekly must start. Definitely the panic level is high. I would be trying to trade Miles Sanders because there are people who are going to see the name Miles Sanders and tell themselves a story that this guy can still be good and might give you something for him. But if not, on your bench until further notice, and panic level very high here. All right, I'm going to end with a quarterback. And before all you Bears fans tell me I'm an idiot and the O-line sucks, I get it. The O-line sucks. But look, Justin Fields hasn't been what we expected at the quarterback position. The offense was better today. They moved the ball. He threw for over 200 yards, but he had no touchdowns. He had an interception. But here's the part, to me, that's really concerning for Justin Fields in fantasy. 3 carries for 9 yards. That's not what we were looking for from Justin Fields, right? One of the big selling points for Justin Fields, similar to my guy Jalen Hurts right here, was that rushing ability, right? That's what we were looking for. Like, hey, even on the days where he only throws for 200 yards and no touchdowns, it doesn't matter because he might run for 50, 60, 70 yards. Well, that just hasn't happened so far, right? It just hasn't, and it doesn't look like it will happen. And I don't know if that's because of Matt Nagy's play calling. I don't know if that's just because Fields, maybe we overstated how much of a runner he would be at the NFL level. I really don't know. But however, whatever the reason, doesn't matter. All that matters is without that, he has a very low floor and a very low ceiling. I mean, 2 weeks here as a starting quarterback, hasn't reached double-digit fantasy points yet, hasn't thrown a touchdown yet, right? So without that rushing ability, his floor is going to be very low. Now, Andy Dalton was close to playing this week. I do think if Andy Dalton's healthy next week, they will go back to Andy Dalton. But at some point during the season, we may see Justin Fields again. And if he's on your waiver wire, don't get all excited and run out and grab him, because unless this offense changes or something changes, we're talking about a guy with very little rushing and really not much passing upside either. So look, could he still be a good long-term quarterback? Of course. Everybody thought Jalen Hurts was terrible, right? And he's been pretty good this year. I think Justin Fields can still be a good NFL quarterback, so you don't need to rail me, Bears fans. But for fantasy in 2021, I'm staying away at this point. Just no real upside there at all, especially in this offense with Matt Nagy. I just need to stay away. So panic level very high, but it may be okay because Dalton may be coming back anyways. But if Justin Fields at some point is still the starter or becomes a starter again, don't run out and grab him off waivers like we all did here, the first time. Just leave him on the waivers and find another option at QB. All right, guys, so those are my panic players coming out of week 4. I want to hear from you now. Who are some players on your fantasy team that you're panicking about? Comment below and let me know. And don't forget, if you liked the video, if you found it informative, enjoyable, entertaining, whatever, please hit that thumbs up button. It takes 1 second. And it really helps out the channel. Don't forget to check the links down below to our Patreon if you want to support us, buy us a cup of coffee, help us grow, and get cool stuff for yourself as well. Also, don't forget the free Discord link down below. That one you definitely want to do. If you can't afford the Patreon, which totally understand, not for everybody, you can afford a free Discord. Everybody can afford a free Discord. Get in there. I want to see you in there. And I want you to go in there and tag me and say, hey, I joined from the Panic video, and I'll give you a shout out. How's that sound? All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.